Okay, it's probably the last video I'm gonna do for the night, but the way my notes line up, because I've been typing them after I'm done, the way my notes line up, I'll have like a flat page instead of this page as typing, and the book after that is some bullshit. But for now, we're gonna talk about fun things. Uh, I used to own The Alchemist when I was younger. It is the first book in The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel, who I recently discovered was a real person, by Michael Scott. It came out in 2007, and it's supernatural fiction, and I would also wager urban fiction. I have not had this confirmed, but I think this book also is peripherally, not that Michael Scott and J.K. Rowling know each other, I do believe this book is peripherally related to Harry Potter. Because I read these books because I saw the name Nicholas Flamel and I was like, oh, he's a character in Harry Potter, sort of. Let me read that book. So I did. And, yeah. Uh, so this is another example of my It's the Journey mantra, because I got rid of these books because I got to book 4, I want to say, and knew how it was going to end, and I was angry about that. I didn't realize that, I mean, I knew how it was going to end, but I don't know how we got there. So I've only read like the first 3 books. I didn't read the 4th one in its entirety, and yeah. So, yeah. Where's the book start? So it starts off with like every like book starts off with like Nicholas Flamel's like journal writings, and I think they also end that way. And he's conquered death, but like his he and his wife have like this book that's like really really important. It's got a bunch of magical shit in it, and it gets stolen. And if they'll die within a month, and the elder race will take over, which means that these 6 books happen in like a month, and that's ridiculous. So much. This book was a lot wilder than I remember. So Josh and Sophie are twins. They work in in a bookstore and a coffee shop respectively. And chapter 1, we're already in the shit. Josh is in the back and Nick is outside. He goes to look, hides behind a corner, and sees Nick like doing a weird thing with magic in front of like a stone man, and then an explosion happens, and what? 4 golems attack Nick and in the bookstore, and Josh is witnessing magic. Some guy named John D wants something of Nick's, but Nick and Josh leave. The twins are also 15, by the way. Jesus. So John D has kidnapped Perry, and he almost has the book, but Josh ripped out some pages, and they were actually the most important pages. They got involved now. The twins are involved now, so Nick just tells them the truth, which is a refreshing breath after all these people just talking in circles around these characters. At least in Whims of Fate, no one knows what's happening. Whims of Fae, no one knows what's happening, so that one's fine. But anyway, so for at least 2 weeks, Perry, her name is Peronella, she is Nicholas Flamel's wife. She also has been benefiting from the elixir of life. And for 2 weeks, she'll be too strong for D to harm, but he's able to like subdue her for now. So John D was Nicholas's apprentice, but greed and jealousy turned him against Nick. Sophie believes Nick. Josh is skeptical when he just witnessed magic. D has contempt for humanity. It's not really explained why. I don't know if we do find out why. I sincerely hope we do. He's been getting really powerful, doesn't care about the consequences. He caused the Great Fire and the famine in Ireland. So Dee realizes that the pages are gone, and he needs to go get help from the goddess Morgan. I was a little bit insulted because I love Morgan, but that's neither here nor there. The immortality spell isn't really like the most powerful thing in that book. The final summoning is what Dee wants. So Josh has the pages, and Nicholas Flamel is really glad about that, but that means that Dee's going to be coming after them. So they go to a lady named, I've never known how to say this, Skithach, I believe is how you say it. She's a member of the Elder race. Side note, in real life, she was a warrior queen, and her name means the shadowy one. She's from Western Scotland, and she likes to be called Scatty, which is very useful for me. The twins are part of some kind of legend. They clear all of this this goings on with their parents, and I don't know what they told their aunt, but Dee finds them, and the elder race are what we would call fantastic creatures. Not usually gods, though some were worshipped that way. Josh is skeptical because it goes against everything they know. Science dismisses what it can't explain, which is really annoying, but whatever. The Dark Elders can't accept that their time is in the past. I find that books that have gods that can't accept the fact that they no longer matter and aren't the current pantheon being worshipped, those books are really good, usually. Um, Morgan's children, which are crows, that video so long ago. Morgan is more or less the goddess of, like, she's the Celtic goddess of death and war. She got betrayed by, like, her boyfriend a bunch of times, and she went to war, and crows and ravens generally are her calling card. Um, yeah, Perry almost escapes, but Morgan catches them. She promises to make Josh suffer. Speaking of which, crows are chasing them. Nick tells them to just drive, like it's fine. They get saved by magic, and also in this book, magic has a smell. Dee's smells like rotten eggs, Nick's magic smells like peppermint, and Hecate's magic smells like pomegranates. Sophie's magic is silver and smells like ice cream, and Josh's magic is golden and it smells like oranges. They have pure auras, which is apparently very powerful. Do I explain Hecate later? I do not know. I don't see that I do. Hecate, or sometimes I say Hecate. I don't know how to say her name. She's the goddess of time, I want to say. She's got 3 faces. She has a very young face, a like adult woman face, and an old woman face. And in this book, every single day she starts off as the young woman, ages through the day to the old woman, dies at night, and then becomes the young woman again. They all have different temperaments, even though they all have the same knowledge. And yeah, so Nick wants Hecate to awaken their magic, but that could really seriously harm them. Oh, there it is. I do explain it. Hecate is not the goddess of time. She's the goddess of magic, witchcraft, the night moon, ghosts, and necromancy. She's the only child of Perseus and Asteria, who gave her power over heaven, earth, and the sea. She's often in the form of a triple goddess. There you go. So disregard what I said before. Scatty is also a vampire, and magic drains electricity for some reason. So like cell phones and cars don't work. Morgan wants to go to Bastet. She is the Egyptian goddess of home, domesticity, women's secrets, cats, fertility, and childbirth. She protects the home from evil spirits and disease. She's also my favorite goddess, along with Morgan. The fact that they're working with the antagonist makes me really sad, but that's neither here nor there. Perry is trying to figure out her own plan. She can see ghosts. She meets a ghost and offers to help him move on if he can get a message to Nick. Josh wants to go home, but he can't, obviously, because Dee is going to come after them. And iron is why the elder race left the mortal plane, because artificial metal hurts them. Not Scatty, though, because she's a next generation elder race. So this is the prophecy. There will come a time when the book is taken and the queen's man allied with the crow. Then the elder will step out of the shadows, and the immortal must train the mortal. The two that are one must become one, that is all. And the last part is the part that confuses everybody. I kind of remember what it means. Not really. The twins try to escape, but they can't. Dee does go get Bastet. They're also part of the prophecy is that one twin will save the world and the other twin will destroy the world, and Sophie teases that Josh will destroy the world. Hecate doesn't want to awaken their magic because she says it will kill them. Gradual awakening takes years, but an older Hecate agrees to it. Sophie agrees to go first. Josh doesn't want her to do it, but fuck Josh, so they have to do it. Morgan and company arrive. Josh is an annoying dipshit. Nick isn't telling them the whole truth, but like, what? Josh doesn't believe them anyway, so why? Sophie gets done. Josh's powers aren't awakened, but there are other people who can awaken them because Hecate dies. I don't think that's good, but whatever. We're just going to move on. So Perry helps Sophie by like channeling her magic through her. Sophie's senses are all over the fucking place because her magic shift's been awakened. And Bastet gets chased off. D also for some reason has Excalibur, and he stabs the World Tree, and that causes Hecate to die. Um, yeah. So they're going to the Witch of Endor, who is Scatty's grandmother, because it will help Sophie like control her magic. She can't awaken D, but whatever. D awakens Hecate for a moment, like resurrects her for a moment, so that he can like find out about the prophecy. They know Josh isn't awakened, so they want to manipulate him against his sister. Josh 110% does not trust Nick. Perry has been moved to Alcatraz because I think it's because it's like A, impossible to escape, and B, something about that place is super magical in this book. Like it like drains your magic or whatever. Yeah. So Josh feels left out because of like magic and shit like that. Dee comes and like talks to them and tries to manipulate him, saying that Nick is bad and Hecate was a criminal and the elders would do the world better, acting like he hasn't been living in the world without the elders and been fine. That's the thing about antagonists. Like they always try to say that their side will make the world better when it's like, I mean, yeah, we have crime and stuff like that, but the alternative causes rebellion. So Dee uses Josh to find them, and the witch gave Sophie her magic. Dee doesn't get the pages from them. Josh has them like around his neck. This book was much wilder than I remember it being. I like that Nicholas told them that they are in real danger and like, no, you cannot go home because if you go home, they will come after you and they will kill you and your family. Josh's whole thing, like, I remember not liking Josh. I remember finding him obnoxious because while I don't have a twin, as as you know, I have sisters, and like we don't always agree on our opinion of people's. I can think of one particular teacher that I dislike while they like her, but like he doesn't trust Nicholas, but like, do you not trust your sister? Sure, her magic is awakened now, but she's still your fucking sister, dude. Like, they have established a good relationship. She's your sister. And like, if you have a good relationship with your siblings, you should trust them over anybody. Like, if you have that relationship, what's the problem? Um, and this part I didn't even really think about until I read it this time. Nicholas. Nicholas Flamel. Sir, you have been doing this immortality potion for decades, like not even decades, for centuries now. Why don't you have that shit memorized? You do it once a month, every single month. Why don't you have it memorized? Like, if I was doing an immortality spell, I would make a point to memorize it so that I could have a little bit more time in doing this. I understand that for Michael Scott's like for his purposes, it gives him a like timeline that all of this has to take place under. But like from like a world perspective, Nicholas. And I don't even think anybody ever points that out to him. Like Nicholas. Um so yeah. Um I still like this book, and I really wish that I haven't given the books away. But that was also during my fan fiction days, so my own standards for my writing were a lot different than they are now. And I appreciate literature more having written some stuff, never published because I'm not brave. Uh, never having written some stuff and like gone back to look at my old things and just been like, this is all types of all over the place and bad. Having a time constraint like that, like the month time constraint, is actually really good. It just makes this story a lot wilder because, oh my god, all of this happens in a month. And I know that I really shouldn't give spoilers for this, but who cares? By the end of it, Josh has lost his hand. Like, what? Okay. Crazy. The next book fucking sucks.